My guest writes, and I'm quoting him, China intentionally created the COVID-19 virus that killed almost 7 million worldwide, including over 1 million Americans, in a Wuhan biolab, the result of wildly dangerous so-called gain-of-function research. The communist government lied, denied, threatened, even launched a propaganda campaign claiming America had created and leaked the deadly virus. China forces entire minority populations, like the Uyghur Muslims, into slave labor concentration camps. Even worse, it routinely harvests organs from them and other innocent people it regards as expendable commodities. China has been plundering America, massively stealing her intellectual property at every opportunity, embedding spies in the U.S. government, including in the halls of Congress, buying up American farmland, especially acreage near sensitive military installations, infiltrating the nation's universities in multiple ways, from planting communist professors to making generous endowments, and in general buying influence in every way possible. And Chinese platform TikTok has been exposed as a secret surveillance tool for the CCP, enabling it to gather personal data on tens of millions of American young people. And then there's a CCP partnership with the Mexican criminal cartels in flooding America with fentanyl, the number one killer of young Americans aged 18 to 45, end of quote. My guest's analysis of all of this, he says, follow the money. Please welcome Vice President and Managing Editor of the online news giant WorldNet Daily, David Kopelian. David, talk about a massive, massive Trojan horse. How have they pulled this off?
Oh man, Larry, that's the question. The China thinks in a very long term, okay, not like a few years or the next election. They're thinking generations. And they have been at war with really the world, but especially America, because America is the world's leader. And they have to take America down in order to be the leader, which is what they want. People need to realize that China, and when I say China, I don't mean the 1.5 billion people, a lot of good people there. I'm talking about the Chinese Communist Party, okay, which is explicitly atheistic. Okay, I've got to dwell on this for 1 second, okay. Atheistic means there's no God. Mm-hmm. The government is God. They are the controlling authority of everything. And so they want to rule the world, okay. That kind of explains that. The mysterious part is like, what is wrong with us? America, which for a long time was the world's most Christian nation, okay, the most successful nation, the most, the wealthiest, most prosperous, multi-ethnic nation, the least racist nation in history, okay, why would America be going and groveling before China? And a lot of it has to do with follow the money. They have bought off a lot of people. The president of the United States is basically the head of a crime family by, political corruption, classic political corruption, using your office for personal enrichment of your family. That is absolutely Joe Biden. Okay. But there are many other people. There's the Clintons and so forth. You have Larry, Peter Schweitzer, who's a terrific researcher on this. His most recent book is called Red-Handed, right. How American Elites Got Rich Helping China Win. And he makes a great point in there. He tracks down all the people, Democrats and Republicans, who have been on the take from China. But he makes a very important point that I agree with. It's not only the money. It's like, yes, it's the money. Disney takes the scene that they want out of this thing because they have 1.5 billion people in a potential consumer market in China. I get it with the Disney and the Nikes and all this, why they sell out to China. But Peter Schweitzer says it's more than just the money. He says the elites in America are infatuated with this dictatorship. There's something sexy about it, something they love about it. And honestly, it's true. If you really look, take the rose-colored glasses off, you look at the kind of people, frankly, the sociopathic class that's running America, you can see why they would admire a totalitarian state like China. I mean, the essence of totalitarianism is you do not do not countenance any opposition. I mean, in its extreme, you don't have any opposition parties, but you don't allow opposition, and from groups and individuals and stuff. Look what they're doing in America with the administration and the deep state and big tech and all that. Okay, they're shutting down your opposition voices. A parent goes to a school board meeting, complains about you're corrupting my children. They call them terrorists and extremists and white supremacists. So there's a lot of envy, I would say, on the part of the elites, the globalist elites that are running America right now. Okay, that look up to China. They kind of like to be able to do that. So that is the other reason for all the groveling before China. They're actually not in that much disagreement with it.
Inflation has consequences. As the Fed raises interest rates to combat out-of-control government spending, long-term bonds have diminished in value, crippling banks. Depositors are holding their breath, and investors are bailing on bank stocks. Diversification has never been more important. And the recent surge in gold prices is directly tied to the extreme market volatility right now. This is why gold has historically been a great hedge against the stock market and against inflation. Now would be a fantastic time to diversify into gold with Birch Gold Group. Birch Gold makes it easy to convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in precious metals. Here's what you need to do. Just visit larryforgold.com to get a free info kit on gold. They'll help you convert your existing IRA or 401k that's tied to a volatile market into an IRA in physical precious metals, gold and silver. And the best part, it's tax sheltered. So visit larryforgold.com to claim your free info kit on gold today with an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, thousands of happy customers, and countless 5-star reviews. Birch Gold is who you can trust to protect your future. Visit larryforgold.com today. That's larryforgold.com. David, I work for Epoch Times. The newspaper was founded to expose communist China, its brutality, and its vision for world dominance. And the gap between how people think of China, the government, and what the government is really doing is massive. I remember when I subscribed to the hard copy of the LA Times, David, they'd have these little supplements in there, pages long, where Chinese people were smiling and happy and were flying balloons. These were supplements that were put in newspapers all over America, giving newspapers millions and millions of dollars. And I think it has corrupted how a lot of Americans perceive the Chinese government.
That's absolutely true. It's the same in North Korea. Smiling people all having a great time, because if they don't, they're facing a firing squad. If you look at, there was a thing called the China Tribunal in a few years ago, in 2019. It's like a London-based panel of international medical and legal experts and stuff. And they went through all this and all the documentation, and they definitively concluded that it is a common practice for the Chinese Communist Party to go and kill people they don't like and steal their organs and sell their organs. We've been hearing about this. WND, World Net Daily, is like 26 years old next month. We've been reporting on this forever. This is not new, okay? But they really, dotted the I's and crossed the T's and showed and documented where this is happening with the Falun Gong, the Uyghur Muslims, any group that is on the outs there, okay? Maybe the Christians, maybe the underground Christians, who knows? There's 38 million of them, okay? Right. But if you are, this is capitalism China style, okay? They will go, and these people are just prisoners of conscience. They haven't done anything wrong, okay? They are they're like the way the Biden administration looks at the ultra MAGA people, whatever they conjure up about the way they think of, what used to be called just like mainstream middle class, working, tax-paying, living and dying Americans. It's like that in China, except they've gone to the point where it's routine to rape women in these, they call them re-education camps. Sounds like the old Soviet Unions, but it's communism. The re-education camps. They want to turn these people into fiercely patriotic, China-loving, patriots, communist patriots. So if you don't, if you're a slacker, they will rape you. They will kill you and take your organs out and sell them for a lot of money. And this is all very well documented. Okay. And so when you have like a country like America dealing with China and pretending to care about, everything is, trans lives matter, and, caring about human rights abuses in Ukraine and everywhere else. What about this? It comes back to the money, because they're making millions of, Peter Schweitzer documented how $31 million came in one big tranche to the Biden family, 4 different members of the Biden family. Okay. I mean, if you had I hate to say it, but if you had like one of the mafia heads as the president of the United States, Lucky Luciano or John Gotti or one of these types of people, you wouldn't expect them to have a problem what's happening in China. Hey, okay, whatever, it's like, just, they're good for us. Okay. Well, we're not that far off with the kind of people we have running America right now. They are paid off. They are in it for the money. And they at best, they turn a blind eye to these things that are happening in China and elsewhere, because it's inconvenient for them to know about it.
David, let's talk about this push for everybody in America to ultimately buy an electric vehicle. It'll make us more dependent upon China. China controls the lithium or the nickel or the cobalt, or they control the people that produce it. It'll make us even more dependent on China. Please explain to me why it is that Joe Biden and the others who are pushing and pushing and pushing for EVs, in my opinion, on the false notion that they are a positive for the environment, but that's aside. Please explain to me why we are getting closer and closer in bed with and dependent upon China in terms of EVs.
It's the trying to think of the term they used during the Obama administration, but basically it's an emergency. If you have an emergency, the Constitution goes out the window, everything, all your norms go out the windows, all the individual rights, because it's an emergency, like the pandemic. Okay. So climate change, the science is absolutely not there. Okay. They're saying that, the ocean's going to rise a tiny bit over the next 100 years or something like that. Larry, just in case your people don't know, the intelligentsia, including the media, have been running this climate change thing, no exaggeration, for more than 100 years. When Grover Cleveland was president, they were doing it. And it's alternated between global cooling, which is the new ice age, to global warming, to global cooling, new ice age, to now global warming. 100 bleeping years plus. They've been doing this, like 125 years, really. So there's something about, if it bleeds, it leads. That explains the media. But we saw it with the pandemic, where certain governors they're in love with this being, it's the emergency time. The Constitution is suspended. You cannot go to church. You can't do this. You have to stay home. Hey, just like China. So that's what this whole global warming, they changed it to climate change because it doesn't always warm. It gets really cold. Right. So climate change works in either direction. It's cool. So that's what it's about.
Heads I win tells you. Yeah, heads I win tells you lose. Last thing, David, let's talk about Nike. How has Nike escaped so much criticism? You've got LeBron James, who jumped all over the then general manager of the Houston Rockets for daring to support people that were protesting in Hong Kong. And LeBron James said he had no idea what he was talking about, and he spoke. The NBA and Nike, of course, are in bed, which means all of them are in bed with China, but Nike has escaped criticism.
I can't explain Nike. You started off saying, follow the money. It's about money. Okay. I don't know that the NBA really cares that deeply about communism, communist revolution, but they love the money. And it's the same, like I say, with Disney, and we just seen this whole bit with Budweiser and so forth. And now they're like scrambling and trying to, because they lost $5 billion in value or something like that, because they had this idiotic transgender campaign. So when you're talking about corporate America, I would say most of it is the money. When you're talking about the political leaders that are the globalists, the people that are flying into to Davos on private jets and eating steak and $80 a pound lobster tail, but telling us we need to eat insects. Okay, those are the people that are the real psychopaths that want to rule the world. So I don't know that much about the corporate world. It seems like they're in it for the money, and that's where the money is. And, 1.5 billion people. America's population is like what, 330 something billion. Okay, so, yeah, so they've got like 4 times as many people there. So that's a big market. I think that explains the Nike and the other corporate traders.
Okay, last thing, David Capellian, what do we do about it?
Oh man, that's always the question, isn't it? Well, we could start by electing good people that actually love America and love the Constitution and believe the oath that they take on Inauguration Day, and aren't just in it for the money. That would be a good thing. We need a free press, like Jefferson said. That's the hope of all, is a free press. So if anybody wants to support WND, we could use it. WND.com. Go to the top of the page and support WND. We could use it. Honestly, we Americans are good people. I said this last time I was on with you. Americans, I believe, still have the best people in the country, but we have these psychopath class that is ruling things. They need to be kicked out. We need to replace them with like normal Americans again.
Well, if I decide to run for president, David, that'll be my campaign slogan. Elder for President 2024. He's not a psychopath.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.
God bless you, David Capellian. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, I know you like the show, so please hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button. We want to get our subscriptions up. And scroll down a little bit and get on our mailing list. Why? Because every now and then, for reasons that confound us, YouTube has issues with our videos. To make sure you don't miss a single video, get on our mailing list. Also, see that donate button? Hit that, throw a little something in the tip jar. Make sure we can still giving you hard-hitting, candid, honest programming. Remember, Larry with epoch.com, Larry with epoch.com. I'm Larry Elder, and this has been the Larry Elder Show for Epoch Times. Remember, we've got a country to save. And I'll see you next time.